Clearly, one of the most important goals for my colleagues and I is to create outstanding experiences for our students from when they first arrive at our campus as first-year students to when they head off into the professional world or to whatever else they choose to do 4 years later. So to give you a feel for what this student experience is like, I'm very pleased to introduce you to two of our amazing students. First, I'd like to invite Marli to share a little bit about her experiences. Marli?
Hi, thank you, Dean. So my name is Marli. I'm a senior at Santa Clara University in the Leavey School of Business, where I'm majoring in economics with a concentration in data analytics, and I'm also minoring in English. I'm originally from Milwaukee, Wisconsin, but decided to head out west for numerous reasons. So for one, definitely just wanted to be in sunny California. Two, I wanted to be in the exciting and cool environment of Silicon Valley. There's a lot of cool and exciting business opportunities there, and I also just love the fun, exciting startup environment as well. Specifically, I chose Santa Clara because I love the idea of a small, tight-knit environment and small classroom sizes, and I've definitely found that here. Love the Jesuit aspect as well. It's been a really cool experience to be exposed to that. So throughout my past 4 years at Santa Clara, I've been involved with numerous organizations. So for one, I've been involved with SCAP, which is the Santa Clara Community Action Program. So that's our largest social justice organization here on campus. So specifically, I worked with the education and mentoring program through that club. I'm also involved with ACE, which is an accelerated cooperative education program. So essentially, it's a club and program of students who decide to work together to build their skills professionally and also a bunch of leadership building skills. So I got to meet a lot of cool new students through that. I'm also a student ambassador, so I give tours and I sit on panels and meet a lot of exciting prospective students and families, which I love. And I also had the opportunity to study abroad in Brussels, Belgium, the fall quarter of my junior year, which is an absolutely incredible experience. In terms of academics, the Santa Clara University Leavey School of Business was an absolutely perfect fit for me. I love the small classrooms. I've never really had a classroom size over 30 students, which is really awesome. I also love getting to meet all the professors. So what's really cool about the business school is that a lot of our professors have a lot of outside experience. So for instance, my first professor I had at the Leavey School of Business for my Business 70 class, which is the Introduction to Business, she actually was super intimidating at first because she actually sat on the board of directors at Macy's. And I was like, whoa, like that's crazy. I'm so intimidated by her. But actually, I had an absolutely incredible experience with her. She taught me so much and was just really someone to look up to throughout my whole 3 years so far at Santa Clara. I also felt like I was really prepared to get a summer internship throughout my classes and experience at Santa Clara University. So last summer, so summer 2020, I worked as a financial analyst intern at Intuitive Surgical, which is the leading robotic, minimally invasive surgery company. I felt really prepared for this experience. And I also was actually hired by an SCU alum and met a lot of cool SCU alum within Intuitive Surgical, which is really fun and exciting. And they all went through the Leavey School of Business as well. One of the most unique aspects I think about the Leavey School of Business is their commitment to social justice and activism. I've actually found that a lot of classes that I've taken within the School of Business have a huge emphasis on this. So for instance, my business communication class, which is my favorite class I've ever taken, had me do a consulting project with a local nonprofit called Cafe Rendezvous, which is a really cool opportunity. And because of this class, I decided to take another class called Writing for Social Change. And for this class, I actually got to work with the Northern California Innocence Project, which is housed in the Santa Clara University Law School. So this organization attempts to exonerate wrongfully convicted prisoners. So I was actually able to help with their marketing materials and a few booklets for them, which was really cool. So after these two classroom experiences, I decided to pursue something a little bit outside of the classroom. So business school has this program called Community Fellows. So essentially, Community Fellow program takes students and places them in local nonprofits and government agencies for the academic year where they work as interns. So for my senior year, this coming year, I'll be working as a public policy intern with the Silicon Valley Council of Nonprofits. I really think that this experience is a cool culmination of all of my business skills that I've acquired and also my newfound passion throughout my time at Santa Clara to social justice and activism. I'm beyond grateful that I get to have this opportunity to put together the business skills I've learned and the finance skills I've learned in the business school and also with the Jesuit values and the commitment to social justice that Santa Clara University has in general. So I'm super grateful that I get to do that my senior year. And I'm excited to pursue something later on in my career that has that commitment to social justice, that serves others, and also attempts to use my business skills. So I'll forever be grateful for that. And I've had absolutely incredible experiences at LSB.
Thank you, Marli. That's fantastic. And our second student who's going to join us today is Adàn. Adàn, would you mind sharing a little bit about your experiences with us?
Thank you so much for the introduction, Dean Agrawal. Hello, everyone. I'm happy to be here and talk with you all today. I'm Adàn Gonzalez, an incoming senior from Inglewood, California, a city just south of Los Angeles. I'm a Spanish Studies and Finance double major with a minor in philosophy. And today I'm here to talk a little bit about why I picked Santa Clara and the business school in particular. When I was a senior in high school, I had already decided that I wanted to study something in business. I just didn't know what specifically yet. Growing up, I had seen both of my parents start their own gardening company, and I was immediately drawn to all things business. I remember watching my mom write checks, talking to my mom about the payroll taxes, and seeing my dad manage all his employees. All of these things just fascinated me. So going back to my decision on Santa Clara, I picked SCU for two main reasons. First, the university's location being in the heart of Silicon Valley and near San Francisco made it perfect for me. I was a big city kid growing up in LA, and I knew I wanted to keep that environment. And I also knew that there would be countless opportunities in the Bay Area. Learning about the startup culture was also just another nice plus. Secondly, I was really drawn to SCU's Jesuit values and teaching philosophy of developing the whole person. I matriculated from Loyola High School of Los Angeles, which is a Jesuit high school. And I knew I wanted to continue my education at a university where I could continue to foster those Jesuit values. Leavey has been a great home for me throughout my time at SCU thus far. My favorite class was the first business class that all first years take when in the business school, Business 70. It's an introductory course that aims to touch on many different areas of business like accounting, finance, management, marketing, and more. And this class really helped me begin the deciphering process of selecting a major and was eventually one of the main classes that influenced my decision to go into finance. So I love this class because of how many different topics I was exposed to. And it was the first time I started to learn about how a business's different departments really work together and how that's so important to run a successful company is that teamwork and really that collaboration amongst different departments. I also had a great professor for this class, Professor Finocchio, who has decades of experience in business across various industries and management levels. Throughout campus, I've been involved in several on-campus organizations that have given me a real sense of community and belonging at Santa Clara. The very first year I came into SCU as a member of the Lead Scholars Program, a program whose goal is to support first generation college students, especially in that transition period during their first year. And this program was a great way for me to meet new friends and get acclimated to college life. This year, I'm actually going to be one of the co-chairs for the LEAD program. So as a co-chair, it's my duty to plan all the events and programs for LEAD scholars throughout the year, such as social events, educational programs, etc. And last year, I was a community facilitator, or a CF, which functions similarly to a resident assistant or an RA at other universities. This year, I will be the finance manager of the Multicultural Center, which is the largest student-run organization at Santa Clara and manages more than 10 other student organizations. I'm also a member of the business school's ACE program. The ACE program is a great way to build relationships with other highly motivated business school peers and really helps prepare you professionally by hosting various workshops for us, like resume workshops, networking workshops, etiquette workshops, lots of cool professional workshops like that. I've also had a couple of amazing internships in my last 2 years, thanks in large part to the connections and relationships I was able to establish in the business school. In my sophomore year summer, I had the opportunity to travel to Bangalore, India for an 8-week internship at a social impact consulting firm. I was able to do this through the Global Fellows Program, a program within the Leavey School of Business that sends about 30 students each summer abroad to work for amazing social enterprises. This entire experience was incredibly enriching for me, both personally and professionally. I had the experience of learning a completely new culture while simultaneously working on a project with one of India's largest educational nonprofits. I would have never dreamed of getting to do an internship in a foreign country, but thanks to the Global Fellows Program, I did. This most recent summer, I interned remotely for a startup firm founded by one of the Leavey School of Business's own professors, Sean O'Keefe. Launch Your Career is a company whose sole goal is to empower students and teach them that everyone, regardless of how many people in business you know or not, can land their dream job or internship through code outreach and networking. After graduation, I hope to break into the management consulting industry and work for a couple of years before going back to school to pursue a master's degree. I hope this has been helpful for all of you prospective students, and I hope to see some of you as future Broncos. Thank you for your time.
Well, thank you so much, Marli and Adàn, for sharing your experiences so far. Very impressive and sound very exciting. I want to be an undergrad all over again. I'd like to just ask 2 or 3 questions to follow up, if I may. I was impressed that you have not just a major, but you also combine it with minors and other areas of study. So how did you make your decisions about what your major should be, and how would you combine it with other interests? Marli, would you like to go first?
Of course. So I definitely knew that I wanted to do something business related, but I also loved social studies growing up throughout high school. So I thought that economics was the perfect mix between social studies, social issues, and also business and financial skills. I decided to add on a data analytics concentration just because I thought those were some pretty technical skills that would be pretty helpful for me later on. And then I decided to do my minor in English because I love reading and writing. And I kind of did that for fun, but as I went through my minor in English, I really found that I could apply it really well to my business skills as well. So it really has helped with communication and writing throughout all my internships that I've had. I definitely think that managing both the major and the minor is something to get used to, but I think that the quarter system does a really good job of you being able to add on classes without it being too much of a workload. So for instance, because we have, you can take 4 classes, fall, winter, and spring, it makes it a little bit easier to add on a minor or a concentration or something like that.
That's great. How about you, Adàn?
So for me, choosing my major was a bit of a difficult process. So as I mentioned, I knew that I wanted to study business from an early age, but I didn't know really what I wanted to study yet specifically. That Business 70 class was really pivotal for me because it helped introduce me to the different areas of business, and finance was just the area that I ended up enjoying the most. So that's how I got that finance part. On the other side, my Spanish studies major, that was something that came about pretty organically as well because I had taken Spanish all 4 years in high school. I'm actually a native speaker. Spanish was my first language, and I was always interested in that literature, Spanish literature, grammar, all of that, and I just wanted to continue that. So that's how that major came along. And then the philosophy minor was an interest that I really gathered once I was already at SCU. I was taking a class my first year. It was for one of our general requirements, and it was pretty much a philosophy class, and I loved it. It was just really interesting to me. I had never studied philosophy, but I really fell in love with the readings, the philosophers, and all that different parts. So that's how I finally ended up adding that philosophy minor.
It seems like this was a combination of interests that you had coming in, but also the structure here allowed you to add to those interests as you evolved in your thinking and in your preferences for what you would like to do. So that's great. I was also very impressed with the internships that both of you described. How well did you feel your classes and other experiences prepared you for these awesome internships? Adàn, would you like to go first this time?
Certainly, yeah. I think looking back at how my classes have prepared me for my internships, they've prepared me extremely well. There hasn't been a single time that I've had a situation and thought, oh, this is something I should have known already, or this is a skill I should have picked up already. Like, that just hasn't happened for me. I still have had to learn a lot on the job, a lot in my internship, but that's the point of them, right? That's what's expected of you, and that's what I did. But a great part that I loved about the Leavey education was not only that they have taught me these great skills and foundational business knowledge, all the acumen, lingo, that all that, but also just that it's taught me how to really be that inquisitive business mind, that I'm just constantly curious, asking questions, want to figure out how stuff works. And that's something I've seen that my employers have really appreciated, and that seems to be universal. That's just a really good trait to have. So for that, I thank the Leavey School of Business for really inculcating that in me.
Thank you. And Marli, how about you?
I definitely agree with Adàn that the skill-wise, I definitely felt prepared. All the material that I learned throughout the business school was really helpful in terms of the skills I was doing throughout my internship. But I also think that the Leavey School of Business does a really good job of allowing you to meet a lot of new people. So I meet a ton of new peers throughout my classes. I have a lot of exposure to my professors. I get to, to speak with them, get to know them a bit more. So I think that that in itself really helped me be able to network throughout my company and make those relationships and connections on a deeper level. I also think that even something as simple as writing a quick email, I email my professors all the time, and they'll, just getting that exposure and being able to communicate with my professors has helped me in terms of communicating with my coworkers at work.
That's great. So seems like it's not just what you learned in the curriculum, but also learning how to learn, learning how to be curious, and in Marli's case, just learning how to interact with other people and communicate well with people at all levels were things that you learned that was very helpful for you. Great. What advice would you give to incoming freshmen for how to maximize their experiences here at Santa Clara or at any college for that matter? Marli, would you like to go this time?
Definitely. So I would say I was given this advice as a first year as well, that just to try to be involved as much as you can. So at the fall involvement fair, my first year, I decided to sign up for like 20 different clubs. The next day I got so many emails. They were like, welcome to like the boxing club or the surfing club. I've never done either of those things. And although I didn't actually pursue all of those 20 clubs, I felt that it was a perfect way to weed out the things that I didn't necessarily want to do and then find different sets of homes throughout clubs and organizations throughout campus. I also think it's really important to know that you can keep adding new involvement throughout your 4 years. So I kind of had the impression that I would have my involvement my first year and kind of be done, but I've realized I'm in my senior year right now and I'm still trying to add new involvement, new clubs, meet new people in that way. So I definitely say to keep in mind throughout all 4 years of your college experience, try to stay involved and meet new people, new organizations, new clubs.
Right, so keep an open mind and look for new experiences. That's very good advice. Thank you. How about you, Adàn?
So Marli actually touched on something that I would really recommend in terms of involvements. I think it's extremely important to get involved. Also, making sure your involvements become really what your passions are, right? So as she mentioned again, you could start with a wide net, but then you really narrow that down and into your core passions and interests. So I guess another piece of advice I would share is really being proactive and asking for help. I think at Santa Clara and a lot of other universities, I'm sure there's great resources for you as a student, whether it be learning resources or mental health support, all different kinds of resources, and making sure that you're really being proactive and asking for that help, and not before it's too late, right? Not the week before finals week and you're struggling with a class and then you go into the tutoring center for the first time, but really being proactive, asking your professors for help, going into those office hours, your peers for help, all those kinds of things is the piece of advice I would like to share.
That's a very good advice. So being engaged and staying on top of things and seeking help proactively rather than waiting till it's too late. And figuring out what are all the resources that are available to you. That's very good advice. Thank you. Well, thank you both so much for sharing your experiences with us. We are so proud of everything that you have done and are really looking forward to all the amazing things that you will do during your senior year and beyond. So good luck in your senior year. Well, thank you all, everyone, for joining us today. We are looking forward to assisting you in your college search process and are very much looking forward to receiving your applications and looking forward to having you as part of our Bronco family. Thank you and go Broncos.